Hi everyone, this is Mindy Eggen and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to show you how to use stamping foam with your stamps. So I know stamping foam is nothing new, that it's been around for quite a while, but it's new to me and this is the first time that I am using a stamping foam with my stamps. Now there are many different ways that you can use the stamping foam, but I'm choosing to just focus on one idea for right now. Now, this video is also a part of a series that I'm doing on my channel right now, which is featuring the new release from Gina K Designs for August 2021. So even though I'm focusing on a particular product, you can use any of these techniques in any of your products that you may already have on hand. So now what exactly is stamping foam? Well, it is just that. It is a stamping foam designed for card makers. I will be using the Simon Hurley Create stamping foam. You get 4 pieces in one package and they are 3 by 4.25. So that is what I will be using today, along with the Grateful Spray stamp set newly released from Gina K Designs. So the first thing you need to do to sort of activate your stamping foam is to heat it up for about 10 to 15 seconds. And that is what Simon Hurley recommends. I did go back after this and watch his video to make sure I was doing everything right, because I actually took a lot of the inspiration from Gina K herself when she used this with her products in a previous video. So what I'm essentially going to be doing is reverse stamping using the large beautiful image here from the Grateful Spray stamp set. So I heated up my stamping foam and I placed my stamp set down onto my craft mat, placed my heated side towards the stamped image, and then I used a block, an acrylic block, to apply pressure. Now you may have noticed that did not get a very good impression. That was literally the first time I was using it. So I need to kind of reactivate this again by heating it. You're not only heating it to use, but you're also erasing what was there. So kind of just a clean slate to start over. So once I've warmed this up for about 10 to 15 seconds, I'm going to take it immediately over to my stamp and stamp this stamping foam into my stamp image. Now that is tip number 1 that Simon recommends, is that as soon as you heat it up, don't waste time in between. Get it right over to whatever you're going to stamp it with. You can use any type of texture products that you have around your house or stamped images, stencils, embossing folders, anything. But I just wanted to focus on a stamp today. Now I'm using an acrylic block to apply that pressure evenly. You can also roll up some tape and tape your stamping foam to the block itself as well. And I think I'm going to do that next time I try this. So once I feel I have applied enough pressure, I'm going to remove that block and you're going to be able to see that I have a fabulous impression of this stamp image. So the next thing I want to do is apply ink to this. Now, a couple tips that I also picked up watching Simon is to use swirling motion with your ink pads. I did not here, but I'm definitely going to try that again and use swirling motions. I'm just using some mini ink cubes from Gina K Designs in Passionate Pink and Sweet Mango. I love these 2 colors. They're very bright and they just blend well together. So I'm just lightly tapping this onto that stamping foam and you can see where that outline of that stamped image is. So once I have my Passionate Pink on and I have all the areas covered, I'm going to bring in that Sweet Mango. And if you happen to get the pink on your ink pad a little bit from trying to blend it together, I'm just going to wipe it off on some scratch paper. It's not going to contaminate because it's not in my ink pad. It's just on the surface of the ink pad. So once I feel I have the entire background covered, I'm going to take it over to some heavyweight cardstock that I have cut to 4.25 by 5.5, and I'm going to stamp it down. Now, what's really nice about this size of the stamping foam is that it is going to leave a really nice border around your image that you're stamping down. Now, I wasn't really concerned with if I was stamping it straight because I already planned on using a die to cut this out because the chances of me stamping this straight was not very good. So I placed that onto my cardstock, once again bringing in that block and pushing that down just all over to make sure I'm getting that really good impression. So once I felt like I had enough pressure placed, I was really wowed by this. This is the first time doing the stamping foam and I was really amazed. I can't wait to try this again with different types of textured backgrounds. So like I said, I had already decided I was going to die cut this panel out. So I lined up a Master Layout 2 die and trimmed that panel out. Now for a sentiment for the front of my card, I am going to be using the Enjoyable Greetings. I lined a small sentiment up on some black Onyx cardstock. I'm going to prep that with my anti-static powder tool because I'm going to be heat embossing. So I only want the embossing powder to stick where I'm stamping. And then another trick that I learned from Gina is stamping this in the white pigment ink. I'm going to be using the white embossing powder, and this is just a really handy trick. So it's getting in all the nooks and crannies, and I'm really getting some great impressions by using white embossing powder with the white pigment ink. So I can just sprinkle that on, tap off the excess, and my heat tool is already nice and hot because I've been using it with the stamping foam, so it melts the embossing powder pretty quickly. Then I'll just take a small banner die and I'm going to line my sentiment up in the center of that and run that through the die cut machine. And I do tend to trim off the flags, but you can leave those on if you prefer that look. For my larger sentiment, I die cut the word enjoy 2 times from heavyweight cardstock and once from some gold foil cardstock. And by adding those layers together, it's really going to give some nice dimension to my card and separate that sentiment from the background just a little bit. Now I also trimmed down some cardstock that measures the same as my front panel and I layered them together, and I'm adding to a card base that I'm creating with Whisper cardstock, so it's a really pretty soft gray. And then I'm going to add the word enjoy to the front of my card with some liquid glue. Now to help hold that down and make sure my liquid glue sticks to the background really well, I'm just going to place an acrylic block on the top of that, let it sit for about a minute or two. I think it's really funny that I use my acrylic blocks more as a tool than I do for actually stamping. Now for my smaller sentiment, I added a couple foam squares to the back and just placed that down underneath the word enjoy. And I'm going to finish this off by adding a few dewdrops with my liquid glue and my pickup tool. So that's going to finish off my card, and I have to say I really loved using that stamping foam. I think that just, if you struggle with large floral stamps, I think this is a great way to get more use out of them than just coloring in those images. So I hope you found this video inspirational and you will give this a try. I will have all of my supplies listed down below in the video description and over on my blog as well. And at the end here, I'm also going to list the previous video to this that is part of this series. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon.